What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Out of the Basement. Today we are continuing our Game of Thrones discussion. Today we are talking about Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. This is, of course, a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the episode, click off this video, go watch the episode, and then come back. Or if you don't give a shit, just stay tuned. Of course, I'm Nate. I'm joined with Connor.
I am the crew.
Yes, it is just the two of us today. Stupid jobs and everything got in the way, but not for me and Connor.
Especially not for Connor.
At least I am employed. So, Connor, you've got the notes. Why don't you take us away onto the episode? I will say right off the bat, not a very good episode.
Uneven at best.
Uneven is a huge compliment, in my opinion. There was probably about 1.5 good moments in the episode, and then the rest I was bored. Literally just wanted to do anything else. I had the book right next to me because I'm reading the books now. About halfway through the first book. And I was just looking at that like, I could be reading that instead. But anyways, take us away.
So we start off with Jon's post-battle speech in the daylight. It's a new day. Yeah,
which why is Lady Mormont's body there? And leader of the Dothraki guy, I don't know his name because who honestly knows his name?
Those are not characters that have really, I would argue, have not really been highlighted much since like season 1.
Right. Well, yeah, the Dothraki they were just like, put those over there. But all of the whites had their bodies, they disintegrated, right? In the previous episode? So, like, why were their bodies still there when we clearly had moments where they opened their eyes, they were
Because
blue.
We had to honor Lady Mormont.
They shouldn't have been there. But yeah, I mean, you're totally right, because she's such a fan favorite.
But, so they light the bodies on fire. That was Jon's moment. Like, Jon was the leader there. Which was interesting to me that, like, Dany said nothing.
Yeah.
She was just sad. Everyone had their sort of, Sansa had her moment with Theon. She had her moment with Jorah. But it was very... It happened. And then we cut, then complete tonal shift. It's all about revelries.
Yeah.
And we got Cupgate.
Yeah, fucking Cupgate.
So I actually quite enjoyed the revelries scene.
I agree.
Let's talk about Gendry Baratheon now.
Yeah.
Clearly in kind of a ploy to attain loyalty. Mm-hmm. That was Dany's only reason for doing that.
Right. Like, let's not legitimize Jon.
Yeah.
We're just going to do that for Gendry and kind of throw him a bone. He becomes the Lord of Storm's End.
And he's the happiest boy for, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's like, where's Arya? I hope she'll be my queen.
I do love that, like, the Hound is like, that's what you're thinking
about.
Yeah,
true. And then, of course, right after that is when we see the coffee cup.
Yeah. Well, so that was an interesting... What's funny is that scene... I was pretty much purely looking at Emilia Clarke's face in that scene because it's, like, so intense and angry. It's like... it almost reminded me of, like, how to tell if your cat is plotting to kill you. Because Tormund's just going on about how great Jon is. The legend of Jon Snow. He came back. I said Snow with an accent. But he came back to life and fought the dead and blah, blah, blah. You know, what a boy. and Dany's just like...
Like, I'm cool too, guys.
Yeah. I have a dragon. Do you want to see it?
Right? It's like, my uncle was like a really brave warrior. Totally one of those like elementary school moments where like you want to be the one that like someone else is getting all the praise, but you're like, I'm pretty cool too. It's totally what that. It's moment
very
was.
Elementary school. And then we have kind of the funny-ish. I don't know if you'll found it funny. Tormund's jealousy with Brienne and Jaime. That's immediately discarded.
Yeah.
Like he found someone else.
Did you notice that in the background of that scene that Podrick started off with one girl, and then he had two girls. Yes. I was like, Podrick, the motherfucking pimp.
Podrick's the dude.
He is, but I'm getting to the point though where like the whole like Tormund Brienne thing, I'm just like we're still running with this joke. How long has this joke been going on for? Of course, in the moment I laugh, but then when I think about it, I'm like, what a cheap. Like Tormund is they're making him such a cheap comic relief character.
Yeah, because he did start off as like this ultimate badass, and he kind of took the reins from Mance Rayder, like in the books.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's totally diminished.
Right, and now he's just like, haha, I'm the crazy wildling guy. It's annoying. It's very one-dimensional.
But, you know, while Ser Jorah never got out of the friend zone,
yeah,
Brienne did.
True.
However briefly.
Yeah, until she came out in her robe. And Jaime's like, look.
I did love, though, the return of Tyrion's drinking game from, like, season 1.
Yeah, true.
That was a nice touch. I thought, like, that was a fun sequence. There was, like...
Gwendolyn Christie was really acting her ass off.
She always does, though.
True.
Unless it's Star Wars.
But then she becomes Chrome Boba Fett.
Yes.
But... Specifically in this episode, she has a pretty wide range of emotions.
Yeah.
With like when she's really drunk and she's like laughing and like having a really good time, to then being completely heartbroken and crying. I just really thought her acting and the acting in general throughout the episode was pretty awesome.
So we had that finally happen. That's kind of an interesting thing, though. You know, we've been building that for so many years, and it kind of. To have her get what she finally get what she wanted, and then immediately is just emotionally devastated.
Right.
You feel bad for Brienne. But Jaime's got to do what Jaime's got to do.
Which also complete conspiracy theory time right now. Jaime is 100%. I'm calling it now. This is Nate's lock of the series. Jaime's going to go back, Cersei's going to let him back in, and then he's going to kill her. There we go. I think he's going to pretend to be, back on her side, only to deliver the final blow. Or maybe he kills Euron.
He kills her and says, the things we do for love.
I would not...
No kidding.
I wouldn't put it past the show at this point with how fan-servicey it is.
I certainly hope not, but...
But if it happens, you heard it here first, folks.
So, but then another romantic plot line, elephant in the room, Jon and Dany, they know they're related. They still want it.
Yeah.
Which was, that scene was really, it's interesting in terms of how belly up Jon is for Dany, but also how she really laid down the law and was kind of like, here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. It starts off as this very affectionate scene and then kind of immediately is not that.
Yeah.
The manipulation was intense.
Definitely. And, of course, Jon is conflicted. Right. Obviously, he knows that the people in the North won't take kindly to incest, whereas the Targaryens have been doing it for years. Doing each other for years.
Indeed.
But...
so he's not supposed to tell anyone.
Yeah.
That is not what he did.
Yeah, and then of course he tells Sansa and Arya, which okay.
Well, so that was how Arya though at that meet, because Jon is just doing whatever Dany wants, and Arya notices this neutered version of Jon.
Right.
She's not down with it. She's kind of like, hey, you did the right thing, getting her help, but you can't just belly up now. I'm gonna keep using that word. Drink every time I say belly up, or don't. But
have a nice sip of water, perhaps.
Stay hydrated. So, she kind of pulls him aside, and that kind of forces his hand. Really, Bran is like, hey, you gonna tell him what's up?
Yeah. It's your choice, bro. I don't know.
That immediately made it totally not Jon's choice.
Yeah.
So Arya and Sansa know Jon is Aegon Targaryen.
And then
After swearing not to tell a soul.
Oh my god.
What does Sansa do?
This part was so frustrating. I was so annoyed. Like, I thought we were over Sansa making these stupid decisions. Mm-hmm. And then there she goes. She's literally, all of her character development just completely erased. She's completely back to square one. Talking, and she tells Tyrion, and Tyrion tells Varys, and now everyone's gonna know.
What I do find quite interesting, though, I mean, yeah, so everyone's gonna know she fucked up, but I do think it's interesting that she felt the need to tell Tyrion. Like, she clearly does trust Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
And it's not like everyone is ignorant to the fact that, like, Dany's not what they perhaps hoped she would be. You know, everyone's.
Yeah, because then Tyrion and Varys literally start plotting against her.
Like, immediately.
Like, Varys is like, I'm loyal to the realm. I'm going to do it.
What a cop-out.
They're so hard, like, they're trying so hard to set up Dany to be, like, another, like, mildly villainous character. And I think it shows through when they're on their way back to Dragonstone, and Rhaegal just unceremoniously gets killed,
which only bothered me because it was even kind of difficult for the Night King to kill a dragon.
Right, he got pretty much lucky with that spear shot.
With this, it was like
there's these brand new weapons that have just been made. No one's really had time to practice with them. Everyone in Euron's fleet is a marksman.
Yeah, they
literally hit him 3 out of 3 times. No missed shots for Rhaegal.
Yeah.
It just happens out of nowhere. It feels so cheap. It feels just like the writers of the show were like, we need to get rid of another dragon to even up the fight, and it's going to save us on the CG budget. Which also what we didn't talk about was just Ghost.
Yeah. So for one, how the fuck did Ghost live?
Who?
Like what did Ghost do in that fight?
Nothing.
You know?
Because he just disappeared.
Yeah.
But he comes back and he's bloodied, and then Tormund takes him north. And Jon doesn't even say goodbye to his dog.
He just, like, looks at him, and that's that.
I thought that there was going to be some sort of higher meaning to the direwolves in the show. But every single direwolf is either killed or just sent off.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like, what the fuck was the point?
No, I do think perhaps symbolically Jon sending Ghost away was him kind of letting go of the Stark thing and embracing the Targaryen.
Okay, I can see that.
I think that's perhaps the symbolism there. I might be reading too deep.
But you're probably giving the show writers a little bit more credit than they deserve at this point, but yeah, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's it?
So that, and then, the wildlings are just going to go back to...
Yeah, they're not going to help anymore?
They're just going to be outside the wall.
Oh, yeah, because half of the Unsullied and half of the Dothraki are still alive?
Somehow.
What? What? There was like 10 of them! Where were they? Like, I was seriously like, Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, everything that happened in the Battle of Winterfell pretty much is for no reason at this point. Nothing of significance truly came out of that.
Well, and again, it's frustrating that you have, all these characters survive the Battle of Winterfell, the Night King, like all that, to die in the next episode so kind of anticlimactically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's the fucking ambush with the Iron Fleet.
Yeah.
And they just get wrecked. Jon's forces are like a day and a half away, I think.
Yep.
So apparently, like, the rules of travel are that...
only certain characters can travel extremely quickly. Yeah. Although, in Euron's defense, if you look at the map in the book of Westeros, King's Landing and Dragonstone are pretty close. But obviously, there's other points in the show where you're just like, what?
Yeah.
What? Well, season 6 onward. But yeah, like, Dany just forgot about the Iron Fleet. Like, we're really supposed to buy that. She just was like, oops, I forgot. and all of their ships get destroyed, and then Missandei is magically captured.
What I don't get is, how do you pluck just that one character from that?
How do they know who she is and what she really looks like? I feel like there's never truly been like a... Well, I guess there was the meeting in last season, but like they just randomly found her specifically and were like, oh, great. We have your right-hand lady.
And it was clearly more for like... it was to give Grey Worm an emotional moment, I guess, but it just felt like such a clear-cut plot device instead of actually...
Absolutely. It was a very TV show moment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we gotta have something shocking happen in every episode.
So there's that confrontation, right? And Tyrion is talking to Cersei's hand, whose name I'm... Qyburn. There's that conversation, and it's basically whatever Tyrion says, he's like, whoa, she wants the same, but the opposite.
Yeah. So stupid.
And finally Tyrion's like, okay, fuck this, and he walks up. Which, at that moment, here's what I don't get. Like, so we haven't even talked about Bronn, but, there's a big deal made about Bronn being hired to kill Cersei's brothers.
Yeah, again, another character whose character development is completely erased.
Yeah, and he,
spends all this time with Tyrion, spends all this time with Jaime, literally saves Jaime's life.
Like, so many times.
And then he's just like, oh, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me a bigger piece of land.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I get maybe if this was earlier in the show when Bronn was strictly a money-driven character, but that was very obviously abandoned, and he became friends with Tyrion and Jaime to just erase his character development.
He punches Tyrion in the nose. He, like, Jaime is about to fight back, and he's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, he's like, dude, like, you can't, you couldn't handle the fudge. But, so, like, that happens. So, but I'm saying, like, Cersei, wants her brothers dead, point blank. She has so it's clearly, like, archery is the main weapon of Cersei's army now.
Yeah, they have all those big dragon.
Why is Tyrion still alive? Like, as he approaches, like, they could point blank just...
Plot armor, Connor. The plot armor. 2 Captain America shields. Tyrion's holding them up. Plot armor. Like, it's completely ridiculous. She wants them dead so bad, and she has the absolute perfect moment to just murder Tyrion. But, of course, because the show has 2 more episodes left, Tyrion's not going to die right now. I don't think he's going to die at all. But just like, if she was truly as evil as she should be, she would have just murked Tyrion right there. I want to say, if we were still going off the books, if there was still books to go off of, Cersei would probably have killed Tyrion right there.
Yeah. But, so instead we get Missandei's death, which is that's the climax of the episode. Which
I was fully expecting the Hound to... Because the Hound and Arya, earlier in the episode, go off on their own little adventure to go to King's Landing alone. I totally expected at this point in the show for the Hound to just block the Mountain's sword and then them to just start Clegane Bowl right then and there.
Surprised to see me, brother?
Like, I would 110% not be shocked if that had happened. Like, I was totally sitting there like, watch the Hound come out of fucking nowhere and just block the sword.
Strange one!
Throws chainsaw, like... but that didn't happen. Missandei got her head cut off, which...
Her famous last words were...
Dracarys, which obviously burned them all. Like, and you can see that Dany's feeling the rage and that she wants to just hop on Drogon and just fuck shit up. But Cersei has all these innocent civilians in the Red Keep to make it harder for Dany to kill Cersei without killing a bunch of innocent civilians. And Grey Worm wants to storm the city too. But really, there's like 15 of them there. There's like, just like 15 Unsullied, Dany, Tyrion. Yeah. Like, if I was Cersei, I would have just fucking killed all of them right there.
Well, especially since, like, archery, again, is like... They've been beefing up that aspect of...
There's literally barely anyone there to protect them, and she's just like, I'm going to kill Missandei instead. Like, what?
Like, to me, it would have made sense even if, if Tyrion died, if Cersei's hand got killed or taken captive, that, like...
Right.
It seemed like that would have been kind of the moment for something to go down.
But plot armor.
Outside of just an execution.
Yeah. But here we are. Plot armor city, so can't expect anything major to happen to any of the major characters, but like...
We have 2 episodes left?
We have 2 episodes left. And this episode had so much filler in it, so much nothing that adds to the overall storyline. I'm like they gotta... I know earlier, in our earlier reviews of this season, we were talking about, like, oh, we appreciate the character moments, but, like, now at this point, there's 2 episodes left. Mm. That's all we have left of Game of Thrones. And I guarantee it's going to be a super unsatisfying ending based on how everything is playing out right now.
I think it's just, like, it's these mass inconsistencies. But I've had this theory for a bit that, right, like, early on, Game of Thrones subverted expectations. They're, you know, like Ned Stark didn't have plot armor despite being the main character.
But not subverting your expectations for the sake of subverting your expectations.
Well, there's that, but part of my thought is that, like, okay, well, like, that was clearly then setting up, you know, there's a long time where you don't really know who the hero of the story is or if there even is one.
Right.
And it's kind of clear, you know, like, Jon or Tyrion or, like, you know, these are people that emerged. But at some point then, you go from telling the story where, like, your main characters are expendable because you're actually telling someone, it's the origin for someone else. Mm-hmm. But now that it's not an origin anymore, it's like those are the main characters, the plot armor kind of, it's in full effect.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get exactly what you're saying, and it's just not fitting for Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was never a show about a specific, like, group of characters, like, living for a very long time. Like, it's my example is, like, when you rewatch the series, you see every single little mistake Robb Stark makes leading up to the Red Wedding, and you understand exactly why he gets murdered.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing like that anymore. Characters make stupid mistakes, they face no consequences, or the consequences that they face are so minor that they, in the grand scheme of things, have no effect on anything at all.
Yeah.
Like, Rhaegal dying, guarantee that doesn't mean jack shit.
That isn't... I mean, but, so I'm thinking about, like, all the things that, like, Dany had that are not... all, you know, remember when, like, there's the long list of titles?
Yeah.
And how diminished that list would be now?
She's literally Mother of Dragon.
Mother of Dragon. Wouldn't argue she's still the breaker of chains.
Yeah.
So on and so on. I'm not going to go into it.
She's not a Khaleesi. Well, we thought she wasn't a Khaleesi anymore, but apparently there was just half of the Dothraki army was just like taking a nap or something.
It wasn't my shift.
They were like, oh!
I slept too long.
Every review we've had of every episode is just Army of Darkness references. That's
what we care about now.
Honestly. So, Connor, do you have any final thoughts on the episode?
Not really. We got, like we said, we got 2 episodes left. I hope something organic feeling happens.
Yeah.
That's really all. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Everything feels very forced now. This episode was a pretty massive disappointment in my opinion. Really, I only kind of liked the ending with Missandei getting killed. But again, she's just a B-list character, so it's like, okay, like, yeah, we've known her since season 3 or 4?
I think 3.
But she really never had too much character development to begin with, so, like, yeah, she dies, but I'm just kind of like, okay. Yeah, just really underwhelming. I'm pretty disappointed. Pretty down on Game of Thrones right now, honestly. Sorry, George. That's what I can say. I'm sure if he watched the show to this day, he'd probably be pretty disappointed.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, he well, that's what he claims, that he doesn't watch Game of Thrones anymore. So I don't blame him. But of course, we're so close to the end, we got to see it through.
It would be really silly to quit watching now.
Yeah, oh, I know. I saw people on, like, Facebook and YouTube, and they're like, I'm done with this show. And I'm like, there's 2 episodes left.
I'm calling bullshit.
Right? Like, I get it, you're angry, but, like, there's 2 episodes left. 2 90-minute episodes left. That's very little commitment to the grand scheme of television.
Like, just get through it and then hate it if you know, that's at least see it through.
Yeah, honestly. So, what did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree with what we're saying? Of course, we like to have a conversation with you. If you enjoyed our review, don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. We are always talking about action figures, movies, Blu-rays, sometimes Game of Thrones with this last season. Who knows, though? Maybe we'll go back and reminisce about the good old days at some point. I don't know. But ring the bell for notifications because subscribing is no longer good enough on YouTube. Of course, I'm Nate. I've been joined with Connor.
What is dead may never die.
What is dead may never die. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next time on Out of the Basement.